Hello everybody and welcome back. My name is Kari and today I am doing the makeup book tag. I do apologize about my unexplained hiatus. I didn't mean to just disappear for 2 weeks, but after graduation I went back home to Colorado to pack up everything that was left in my room so that when I get a job and all of that, my parents can just ship it up to me and they don't have to store it anymore. While I was in Colorado, it also meant that I wanted to see as many of my friends who still live there as possible, and that took up a lot more time than I thought it was going to. All that said, I'm back. There shouldn't be any more unexplained hiatuses since all I have for the next 2 months is to study for the bar. So if you see me looking haggard and like I'm gonna kill somebody, it's probably because I just put myself through a marathon of studying for God knows what subject that day. At any rate, let's get into the book tag. So the first one is Primer, a book that left a lasting impression. And for this one I went with The Tiger's Wife by Thea Obrecht. This is a book about an unnamed Baltic country between the years of World War II and present day, really the entire 20th century. There is a lot of magical realism in this. There's stories, and it follows a young woman trying to figure out what her grandfather's life was, essentially. I did not expect to like this book. I picked it up on a complete whim, but absolutely loved it. It became one of my top books of 2017. Next is Foundation, which is your favorite first book in a series. I've talked about this book a couple different times because it is the book that got me into fantasy, but that is Dealing with Dragons by Patricia C. Reed. This follows a young woman named Cimarine who is a princess but acts very different to what princesses are expected to be. In the beginning, she finds out that her parents want to marry her off, so she runs away and apprentices herself to a dragon. I still love this book. I've recently reread it, and I'm not sure I will ever not love it. Number 3 is Concealer, Characters You Wish Didn't Exist. I'm going with an entire series for this because I just dislike it so much, and that is the Selection series by Kiara Cass. I cannot stand the characters. I think they're two-dimensional and dull, and the plot is boring and overdone. So if that series would just vanish, I would be very unbelievably happy. Next is Powder, your favorite last book in a series, and for that I went with The 10th City by Patrick Carman, which is the last book in the Land of Elyon series. This series follows a young girl, Alexa, as she discovers certain powers and abilities that she has through the help of animals. I love this series, and I thought that this book wrapped it up really, really well. The next book is Eyebrows. Pick a book that you think everybody should read, and for this one I went with The Butterfly Mosque by G. Willow Wilson. This one also ended up on my favorites or most thought-provoking of 2017 because it's about a young woman from Colorado who goes abroad to Egypt and then finds her faith. She converts to Islam there and marries a young man. It's an amazing, simple but thought-provoking book. Number 5 is Eyeshadow. Pick a book with your favorite colors on the cover, and this one I gave to The Mermaid and Mrs. Hancock by Imogen Hermes Gawar. This is about a young ship captain in the 18th century whose first mate tells him he's traded in the ship to buy a mermaid, and you go from there. I just think this cover is absolutely beautiful, although it could also go to Jane Unlimited by Kristen Cashore with its lovely holographic cover as well. Number 7 is Eyeliner. Name a book that is dark and mysterious. I couldn't really think of a lot, but the one that did pop into mind was The Girl in the Tower by Catherine Arden. This is the second in her Winter Night trilogy, and to be honest, now that I've read the first, I did enjoy this one more. It follows a young girl in her teens as she runs away to Moscow to join her sister in a tower without wanting to be in the actual tower, and it has a lot of Russian folklore in this. Like I said, loved it. There's a lot of darker elements to it, and the fact that it's set during a Russian winter is just fantastic. Number 8 is Mascara. Name a long book. For this one I went with War and Peace, which is about 1,300 pages. I read this book in high school and absolutely loved it, but I do want to reread it with a family tree next to me so that I don't spend 500 pages figuring out who Sasha and Vasha and Natasha all are when there's 7 of them, or so it seems. Number 9 is Blush, a cringeworthy romance. I have three for this. The first one is the Selection series by Kiara Cass, which I mentioned earlier. It's a YA dystopian that focuses more on the romance than it does on the dystopian. There's a love triangle, and I hate it. The second one is 50 Shades of Grey, because I just can't stand those books, and yes, I've read them. And the third one is Twilight. Again, just a cringeworthy romance because there's nothing good about it, even though I haven't finished any of those books and never plan to. Number 10 is Highlighter, a book that brightens your day, which is definitely needed after thinking about those three cringeworthy series. But the Highlighter is The Book Jumper by Mechtilde Glaser. I read this book last January, 2017, and it is about a young woman who goes to Scotland and finds out that she has the ability to jump into books. It is an amazing book. The translation is a little bit rough in this one, but it does get better in the Forgotten Book, which is sort of a companion series almost, or a companion book. Mostly, I just adore this cover and the idea of being able to jump into books and talk to the characters within them. And the last question, number 11, is lipstick. Name your favorite kiss. As you may have caught on by now, I'm not a big romance person, so the kisses in books aren't necessarily what I remember in them. I'm going to remember the personalities or certain descriptions or if they're set in winter, but the kisses are kind of negligible to me. Anyway, for this one I went with Graceling by Kristen Cashore. I just really like how the relationship develops in this one, and I like the last sort of epilogue part of it where the kiss is much more gentle between the characters. This is also just one of my all-time favorite books. I've read it at least 10 times at this point, and I genuinely think it will probably remain on my favorites list for a very, very long time. Those are the 11 questions for the makeup book tag, which I honestly did because I just got a ton of makeup from one of my friends. She had a whole box of unused makeup sitting around and asked me if I wanted it. So I said yes, because makeup is very expensive. At any rate, I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, sorry about the hiatus, but I will see you again soon. If you enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up down below. If you want to see more content like this, hit that subscribe button down below. As always, I will leave my Goodreads, but I'll see you in my next video. Bye.